Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there in Radio Land. This is those Muckrakers coming to you live once again through the power of the internet. I'm Pat.
I'm Pete.
I'm Bobby.
And this time we're actually live in episode 126. Like, we're actually live this time. We're live on Facebook. We're streaming episodes. So all of y'all out there that aren't aware, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/thriftingtonpost, all one word. But also apparently on, what is this? Peter Awesome Danger. Is that your
Yeah, that's
where
right.
we can see ourselves? I was about to give, if I had finished reading that out, it would have given away your name.
Hardest to find.
It's should I give people your full name, dox you? You're live on the episode.
I feel like I'm
Why
pretty
don't
well.
we have more viewers? I don't know. We keep posting this to our personal pages.
Facebook.com/Peter Awesome Danger Griffin. You can find us there live whenever we go live, which is miscellaneous.
I'm gonna have
I don't
so
know. We
many-
don't really have.
It's
I'm
just
good.
sort of whenever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't even get our own schedules together. We're not going to follow any of our viewers' schedules. Yeah. We're also on Discord, but we're not accepting new members there. I just like saying that we're on Discord because it makes us sound cooler. I have a YouTube channel that I haven't done anything on in a while.
If 5 different viewers ask me for the Discord link, I will open up the Discord link to the public and let people start joining it, and I will post there and do whatever. But as it stands now, if there's not enough interest, then fuck it.
We're starting to gain ground in that we got an email from a guy who made us think we had a really juicy conspiracy, and then it turned out he was just a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Everyone should be more everyone should be more disgruntled, especially with the way things are going. But also, this sounds a lot like an "Am I the asshole" thing.
Yeah.
This is we are a group that is always on the side of the individual, right? We never take the corporation side. So when we say, the corporation's probably in the right here to be suspending this guy, he probably fucked up. So we'll still discuss this case in more detail since he asked us to. Why not? Like, we have all the information.
Do we want to start with
all the information that he was able to give us? There was a
we only got his side.
Is that the name of the website? It's been recorded in a few like legal journal articles and stuff
because he is currently suing the company.
To anyone who's not like going to Harvard Law School, so we don't have access to that. So literally, we just have what the guy sent us. We don't have the big picture.
Which I'd like to imagine if it wasn't 2021, it would have come to us in a greasy envelope, with a hastily scrawled return address.
No, it's a guy in a trench coat agreed to meet me in a parking garage.
Yeah.
I was excited though. Like, we're always giving out our info, which is, those muckrakers@gmail.com. If you'd like to send us your own Am I the Asshole story, or your own Dear Wesley, which is a letter that we read to Wesley and have him tell us what he thinks.
I remember when one time we actually had a Russian troll that was like trolling us on YouTube.
We had a nice comment. We finally got a non-troll comment in the YouTubes.
Well, we were so excited with this Russian troll that we both started like talking to him at the same time, and he gave up and left.
Oh, I wrote like paragraphs to him. I was excited. I wrote him a dissertation.
We were just so excited to talk to like a troll, and this guy's like, fuck this, I don't have the time.
He didn't realize that, especially back in, 2015, 2016, I spent all my time on Twitter, just like responding to trolls and Trump supporters. I've wasted hundreds of hours talking to those people. I have so many memes that I used to like spam send them in different situations. And because like all conversation and all discourse would inevitably break down whenever, you give them like strong evidence to the contrary of their fundamental beliefs in life, and then they'll just get mad and start yelling, and then it's time to bust out the memes.
Yep. So
after spending all that time doing that, I of course never back down from trolls when they respond to our own YouTube channel. Of course I'm going to address them.
Do you want to start with the news today?
Sure. Can I go first?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So according to the Washington Post, WAPO is reporting that this is basically in their political beat. So one thing that, really, I don't know if you guys know this, but really kicked off at the beginning of the year was the idea that the election was stolen, specifically from President Donald Trump for President Joe Biden. I don't know if you guys know this. There was a big brouhaha at the Capitol on January 6th. It wasn't a very good look for the Republican Party. So since then, a lot of them have been trying to, as much as possible, distance themselves from the election conspiracy theory and the resulting January 6th riot, insurrection at the Capitol. But they have also, like, simultaneously, I'm going to distance myself from that. Okay, it was a very orderly, tour group that came through, and I was fine with it, but the Democrats had a huge problem with it. So, they had to be escorted out. Now some people are going to jail or something. Anyway, really, really quick, but really, really funny. One of the 600 defendants in the insurrection trials that are starting and going on right now, which they're not going to be done next year. This is going to be something we're talking about throughout the midterm election, are these insurrectionists and the charges against them. Well, anyway, this one guy. So
a lot of them thought they got away with it because they went home that night, but we are still to this day like hunting them down and arresting them. It's fantastic.
I'm sure there's people that would be absolutely amazing if it's just now an American tradition is finding people who were at the January 6th insurrection. But anyway,
is it weird that I wanted to go to the insurrection, not as an insurrectionist, but I just wanted to walk around with like my phone on live stream being like, I'm state's evidence. I'm getting everybody's face. Hey, what's your name, sir? FBI, get at me. This is my address.
Anyway, so one of the defendants, I can't find the article for it. It's not the Washington Post. I've just decided to talk about this first. But so one of the defendants is a 23-year-old man. Both the Virginia district attorney, because he's being prosecuted in the state of Virginia, the public defenders, the district attorney there in Virginia, and the judge overseeing these hearings, because he's just in pretrial right now, have been desperately trying to get him to not represent himself.
I read about this. This was amazing.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So he not only got on the stand, he was facing like 3 charges, like, violations of like, all this kind
people
of stuff.
don't seem to understand that what lawyers do primarily is make sure that you don't go to jail for 10 times longer than you could have gone to jail.
Exactly. So this guy is like going on trial. It's like, I think it's like breaking and entering, unlawful entry to a federal building, being on federal property, trespass, that kind of thing. Anyway,
he's watched way too many legal shows. He probably thinks he knows the law.
The assistant district attorney got out of him, not only, I'm one of the people who broke a window, whoopsie daisy, that's another federal violation. I smoked pot in a congressional office, whoopsie daisy, that's another felony. And
whoopsie felony.
So his charges went from like 3 things, he's now at like 24, and the judge is still trying to get him to not represent himself, but he's going to continue to represent himself.
I read a clip from his
for like 25 years. Like, yeah.
I read a clip from like his meandering like presentation in front of the court, and apparently it lasted, and he would just sprinkle in like Latin phrases like, well, you see, tempus fugit, your honor, thereby ipso facto, it turns out, and also freedom right on eagles' backs. Like,
six imper tyrantus.
What? No, you said that wrong.
The judge.
Six imper tyrantus.
I wish
terrible lizard.
I wish I had written it down. The judge said something about this isn't like an undergraduate presentation. This is like a court of law, and nothing you've said has made your case any better.
God,
I strongly urge you to get a lawyer.
Is he like pre-law or something? Is that what he's representing himself?
Oh, no. I believe he's
that would make a tiny bit more sense.
He's one of he's one of like, I believe he's one of the sovereign citizen guys.
Oh, fuck.
That makes more sense as to why he's doing this.
If you guys don't know who the sovereign citizen movement are, just to give you a brief overview, they are
We've had
people
episodes on them before. We refer you back to those, of course, but
they basically believe that through a couple of key phrases that they found the like Konami cheat code.
Not even in the Constitution that our laws are based upon, but rather in the Articles of Confederation,
right,
which was the document preceding our current Constitution.
But they found like some typos that mean that they are no longer subject to U.S. law, and so they always do this weird shit where they're like, if I just defend myself and I explain that I'm no longer subject to U.S. law, then they have to let me go, and then every time.
They're hyper fixated on like if the flag in the courtroom has gold fringes on it. That automatically makes it a naval flag. So they start questioning, oh, is this maritime law? And the judge is like, no, sir, this is traffic court.
I
This is-
believe it, yeah, I believe it was, I can't remember if it was in
Yeah.
America, because these people are also in England. It was in America or England where the guy goes, you know what, I'm citizens arresting the judge. And then he attempts to climb over the judge's like desk.
No,
Oh,
the
that's
bailiff will
great.
tackle the fuck out of him.
Yeah, he got the
Oh.
fuck tackled out of him. He was taken down. He was not allowed to. He was not allowed to.
Yeah, you're not
affect-
allowed to attack the judge in the middle of a court proceeding.
Well, he was affecting a citizen's arrest. They're kind of like, you remember the old Bugs Bunny cartoon? He'd be like, "I have you," and then like he's like, "On the contrary, I have you." That's
Mhm.
their general. That's the depth
You'll
of their
be,
legal
you will be
knowledge.
going to jail for contempt of court if you try to arrest the judge. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, not even
Like,
like not
that's-
even not even
That's
like
going to be a much worse sentence for him.
Yeah, the one guy, this might be the same guy or it might be a different guy. If he's the one I'm thinking of, he actually attempted to like threaten the judge's family so the judge would be removed from the case. Which apparently is a really
What?
bad, yeah. So apparently it's really bad to threaten the family of a federal judge in hopes
Judge,
that
now you listen here.
Oh, yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
a
yeah, that
shame
was-
if
that
something
was-
happened to your family there. Maybe I should
that
go.
that was one of the other things that the guy that was representing himself did, was he didn't
Threaten the judge?
yeah,
He didn't threaten the judge's family. He listed the judge's wife as his emergency contact, thinking
Just-
that would get him a different judge or get the thing thrown out
Right.
altogether, which is okay. No, that isn't how this works. That's not how any of this works. Well, anyway, so what I was getting at,
If
Donald
yeah,
Trump
that
has
does sound a
once
bit
again-
threatening.
Donald Trump has once again basically thrust himself on the Republican Party. And remember, Republican establishment cannot distance themselves from him, and he doesn't want to distance himself from the insurrection and the the false claims of a rigged election. Okay, now the bad part
He's
about
taking
this
so
is-
many people down. It's
that-
beautiful.
but it's the bad part about this is that Joe Biden is not doing so great right now, and by extension, like House Democrats have like 5 points on Joe Biden, like in popularity, basically, which is good for the Democrats attempting to maintain control of the U.S. House of Representatives. So that Republican senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, can just tell them no. But no. So the Virginia gubernatorial race has been very, very fucking hotly contested, and basically Virginia Republicans have said we don't want anything to do with Trump because we're trying to run like a very moderate kind of campaign here. And Donald Trump this weekend, on Friday, like the Kool-Aid man, just jumped directly in,
Oh,
burst through
yeah.
a wall and said it was fraud. I miss Mike Lindell. I'm so sorry that he disappeared into his own anus, but
He's still around. You can find him on OAN. You can find him on all kinds of. Does he still have his website that he made that was supposed to be like 24/7? What do you call
Does
it?
it reveal
Mike
the
Lindell
truth?
News. Yeah,
Mm.
he named it something, and it wasn't like my website or whatever.
Yeah, that went. Are you talking about Mike Lindell or Donald
Yeah,
Trump?
Mike Lindell.
Oh, because Donald Trump tried it as well, like from the office of President Trump or something like that. It was
Yeah.
just him at
Yeah, he keeps
Mar-a-Lago.
trying
It was
to
basically a
Use
new
the
way for
presidential
him to-
seal to address
Yeah.
people, which is also illegal. But again, King Trump is above the law, so
right.
can't arrest him.
No, it's just nice to know that presidents can just ignore impeachments. I mean, that's really good, especially if the Democrats do end up fucking this up and losing the House and Senate.
Yeah.
Joe Biden has nothing to fear. The president is
Yeah.
now an emperor. Thank you, Donald Trump. Well, really,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, Richard Nixon. But here we are. Impeachment means absolutely nothing. It means
Yeah,
absolutely
there is zero mechanisms to remove a president. They cannot be indicted,
Yeah.
even if they broke the law.
Well,
They
that's-
cannot be impeached. Nothing, right? Like you
Well,
can't remove them.
but they'll never be removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to get into we usually have a segment called "The Past." Everything in the past was terrible, but this one I'd like to call "Everything in the Present is Terrible." This so when I first read this news story, I
I'm gonna
it
turn
took
something off right quick.
it took a minute to sink in. But this woman is found guilty of first-degree manslaughter for miscarrying in the state of Oklahoma. So the jury gave her a verdict.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, so they're going to arrest her for what now?
No.
Is it like for murder because
No,
of the miscarriage?
they're not arresting her. She's convicted. Like she's been arrested, tried, and sentenced for first-degree manslaughter because she miscarried a child at 17 weeks.
The fuck is wrong with them?
It's Oklahoma, number one. Two, so the autopsy said her child died at 17 weeks. So the report showed the child tested positive for methamphetamine and like amphetamine and like another drug.
Did it? Well, actually, they may have a point.
Hold on. That's the insidious part about it.
Gotcha.
They don't actually know if that's what caused the miscarriage, because often at 17 weeks, women will miscarry and they don't know why. So even though the child,
even after it's born, which is like what, the 10th trimester, you can always have SIDS occur and just sudden infant death syndrome.
So number one, they don't know that's actually why the child died, even though the child was found with drugs in its system. Two, the nurse and the medical examiner testified to seeing congenital abnormalities on the fetus, which meant that if you don't know what congenital means, that means like passed down abnormalities. So the baby may have just miscarried because of like genetic abnormalities on its own anyway. They don't actually know, but it's Oklahoma. And so this lady was like tried and sentenced first-degree manslaughter for miscarrying. Here's where this is super insidious, right? So she was a drug addict, which in their mind makes it okay, right? So let's test out this arresting women for miscarrying on a drug addict. And she was also, I believe she's an indigenous woman. So you talk about like a double whammy of people that society doesn't care about.
That's exactly what I was saying in another podcast, that's what makes it so difficult to have prison reform, is because once people think, oh, we can prove that you did this one thing wrong, that you're no longer human and it doesn't matter what happened to you.
Yeah.
I thought that,
like, oh, she's a drug addict, she broke a rule, someone said don't do that and she did it, fuck her.
I thought if you were accused of a crime, you had to be sure beyond the shadow of a reasonable doubt. And it seems like there's a reasonable doubt the size of a fucking Mack truck here, because the doctor's like, we don't actually know
what evidence is allowed to be presented to the court, right? Like they're only allowed to see a certain amount of it, and then the rest of it is just not permitted to be shown to the jury.
Well, I mean, it really feels like there's room for a good lawyer to appeal here, because it just seems absolutely fucking bananas.
But this is where it starts, right? With attempting to not only outlaw abortion, but start throwing women in jail for miscarrying, which happens a lot. A lot more often than you would want to think.
Well, I think it's something like a fourth of all pregnancies terminate within the first trimester. Like, it's some women, the pregnancy terminates and they don't even know. They just think that they were late for a period, because again, until about 12 weeks, the baby is like the size of an earbud. Like, it's nothing. It's not a person whatsoever. And
that's what's so rough about the Texas law saying, oh, no abortions after 6 weeks, is because most women aren't even aware that they're pregnant then.
That's the thing.
Another thing is that when you're late for your period, if you come to a doctor about that, you're automatically considered 4 weeks pregnant, whether that's true or not. So then you have 2 weeks tops to make the decision and get the abortion.
Well, also, I mean, at 17 weeks, she may not have known she was pregnant. If she was heavily addicted to like methamphetamine, I'm going to go ahead and say she probably had no idea she was pregnant.
She was pregnant. Oh, so she might not have even known.
It's just like, if you're in the throes of addiction, I doubt that like that early or that soon that like you're pregnant. But no, it's crazy that like the jury.
But it's also that some of these anti-abortion hate groups, which they are hate groups, one statistic that they like to throw around, it's kind of like that number of, oh, communism has killed 70 trillion people. It's an absolute like, plus capitalism has been around longer, it's killed a lot more people than communism, arguably, but that's neither here nor there. It's a very vacuous argument to make either way. But one of the things that the anti-abortionists like to throw around is that, 1.8 billion people would be here today if it weren't for abortion. And the thing that people have to know about these really high numbers that these anti-abortion groups, especially the Christian ones, the Catholic and the fundamentalist Christian ones, are throwing around, that includes Plan B. they counted Plan B in the numbers, and not how many women self-reported to taking Plan B.
Just how many women were taking it.
How Plan B
how many
sales. So number one, we don't know how many times Plan B has actually terminated a zygote. We don't know. We don't know how long. We don't know how many times out of
you may or may not be pregnant. Who knows? It just means I fucked unprotected last night and popped a pill after.
We don't know how many people, women and trans men or non-binary folks, have actually gone through with taking Plan B after purchasing it. So see, it's a very disingenuous number. And then there are other places, because they use these numbers to try and pull on your heartstrings. It's like, oh, 80 trillion babies aren't here today because of abortion. I'm like, yeah, that's a made up number one. Number two, you can't actually claim to care about these children if these so-called children, and I love calling them these so-called children. Can I read y'all a quote real quick? This is my favorite quote on abortion. Absolutely favorite. I have read this to conservatives before and had them lose their shit on me because it's some shit they hadn't heard before. Let me read this to you. And for anybody, anybody watching?
It says there's 2 people.
Oh,
Wesley on two. It's Wesley on two. It's Wesley on 2 computers.
How many does it say now, Peter?
Okay.
It's down to 1.
I was like, I have no idea.
Okay. So here we go. This is one of my favorite quotes on abortion. It is absolutely solid. You can I'll give you the website, Waldo, so that whenever you post the video, you can you can link to it on YouTube. Okay, this right here, I fucking love this quote. Never mind the vicious nonsense of claiming that an embryo has a right to life. A piece of protoplasm has no rights and no life in the human sense of the term. One may argue about the latter stages of a pregnancy, but the essential issue concerns only the first 3 months. To equate a potentiality with an actuality is vicious. To advocate the sacrifice of the latter to the former is unspeakable. Observe that by ascribing rights to the unborn, i.e. the non-living, these anti-abortionists obliterate the rights of the living, the rights of young people to set the course of their own lives. The task of raising a child is a tremendous, lifelong, life-changing responsibility, which no one should undertake unwittingly or unwillingly. Procreation is not a duty. Human beings are not stock farm animals. For conscientious persons, an unwanted pregnancy is a disaster. To oppose its termination is to advocate sacrifice, not for the sake of anyone's actual benefit, but for the sake of misery qua misery, for the sake of forbidding happiness and fulfillment to human lives. Any guesses on who said that?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Was it RBG?
Oh, was it Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Billy Graham. TV's Billy Graham.
Nope.
Charles Darwin.
Ayn Rand.
Ayn Rand, really?
That's funny because that's the only thing she's ever said that makes me not want to dig her up.
Well, it's most libertarians, most Republicans who claim to be libertarian, they get stuck on the abortion issue because they still want to be in with Papa Trump, and Papa Trump doesn't like abortions, even though Donald Trump has definitely paid for women to have abortions in the past.
I mean, his sons look like unsuccessful abortions.
Right. My Judeo-Christian values. Okay, first of all, hold up. It's just your Christian values, because the Jews don't really consider abortion a sin. In fact, in Israel, not only is abortion legal, the government single-payer healthcare system from the ages of able to conceive to 32 or 33 years old will pay for any abortion in the first 20 weeks.
Christians actually did not care in America until the Republicans told them that they cared.
That's
kind of
I'm gonna throw another thing out there.
But then after that, if you get pregnant after that, you can have private insurance pay for the abortion. And of Israel's 4 major health insurance providers, private health insurance providers, all of them cover it. They all cover it. This is just a Christian value, and it's not even one supported by the Bible. This is something that was made up later, came up later, and has been used as a fucking wedge issue. It is fucking stupid.
Honestly, even if like their Plan B numbers were anywhere close to accurate, I'm just gonna throw out there maybe an unpopular opinion. Do we want 1 trillion people? Do we want another trillion? I
Like,
don't.
mean,
what is
the
it? A
planet-
billion people don't have access to food. 2 billion don't have access to water. Like, this world is having an overpopulation, not an underpopulation problem.
No, well, overpopulation is, I mean, it's kind of a big scary thing, but it's also sort of in that realm of, well, back in the 70s, they said, 8 billion was really going to push us over the edge to ecological collapse. And while climate change is a thing, it's not really the number of people that's causing it. I mean,
It's the way we use our resources.
These are resources terribly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's capitalism. Is you have to capitalism constantly, and Marx pointed this out. Capitalism constantly has a problem of overproduction and inefficiencies in distribution because your motive is profit, not
helping
the well-being
people.
of other people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's But anyway, yeah. If we got rid of capitalism tomorrow and replaced it with something like, I don't know, Anarcho Syndicalism, like, we would definitely be able to feed, clothe, and house every single human on the face of this planet. But my stock futures, like, no, we can't do it. We can't do it. The Earth could probably, with the technological level of agriculture that we have, agriculture
that we're at right now,
logistics that we have right now, the Earth could probably support 20 billion people. Point blank, we could do it. But it's not profitable to do it, so we're not going to.
To learn more about anarcho syndicalism, refer to our previous episode.
Which episode was it?
I don't remember, but if you scroll through our episodes and listen to all of them, I'm sure that you'll.
We have all.
I think it was 125.
I'm sure that
y'all can find all of our episodes on SoundCloud and YouTube, except for 108. Peter never found the audio to that one, so Bobby's very first episode still lost. The episode where we introduced our third host, just into the ether.
We'll make up for it. We'll make up for it.
This is the first I'm hearing about episode 108.
I've reminded you about it constantly for months.
That was episode 126.
108 was the very first episode with Bobby. You never got the audio to that.
Your brain is rotten. Your brain is like a fucking pumpkin in like the midway through
I still
November.
remember it to this day. You just forgot about it a long time ago.
You're doing
it was back 10 months ago? It was 10 months ago.
You're doing the old man thing. You remember stuff that didn't exist.
Yeah.
You can check SoundCloud. One episode's missing.
Folks, if you want us to clean this up and actually do it professionally, send all donations in the form of gold bars to Wesley, care of P.O. Box.
Well, we will come up with if you have gold bars, send us pictures of them and we'll give you Wesley's actual home address. We'll dox the hell out of him and you can mail the gold bars to him, or bees, mail him bees.
Which is great.
Either way, we would laugh.
Then other people knowing that the gold bars are showing up at his house are also going to show up, and it's going to turn into like an episode of Ozark. It's going to be great.
We want all of donations of money to us to be in gold bars to Wesley. That way he has to carry those gold bars to the bank and figure out some way to turn it into money. We just find that thought very, very funny because it'd be such an inconvenience for him. You can also support the podcast by buying Dust Belt books.
Wesley's great adventure to the Federal Reserve in Manhattan.
Oh, God damn it. The truck broke down again. There's so many gold bars in it. I can't carry them all.
It's really hard these days. Like, if you got gold bars, like, I don't know where you go to cash
for gold, probably.
No, I wouldn't go there.
What you have to do, what you have to do is you have to exchange some of it for cash, enough to afford a production crew, and then enough to buy commercial space on late night infomercials so that you can then sell your own gold to gullible people who will not know what to do with it.
I was like, if you go to the cash for gold place, Wilder, they're just going to beat you over the head and take it. Those places are run by petty criminals. They exist to rip you off.
You forget, Peter, they're not going to beat me over the head. They're going to beat Wesley over the head. It's his responsibility.
When I worked at Walmart,
to get us money.
It's feeling like either a Channel 5 sting or like a Fox documentary of like, Wesley has 48,000 pounds of 8-karat gold bars. He needs to get them to the Federal Reserve. He has 72 hours.
It's going to be like the Oregon Trail, except for like Wesley and his family and all the gold bars.
Do you remember that scene from Dumb and Dumber at the end where he's like, "I'm wearing a bulletproof vest," and he goes, "What if they shot you in the head?"
That was a risk we were willing to take.
Well, I had that same thought when I used to work at Walmart and I was reading our safety protocols, And
Oh,
one of
God.
them was, if you
It's
lived,
step one of safety at Walmart. Don't ever talk about unionization.
well, it was, if you lived,
The first
if
rule of Walmart unionization is we do not talk about Walmart unionization.
if you worked at a Walmart that was too rural to have like a Brinks truck, the managers were to take the night's earnings, put them in your car, and then get in 2 different cars and hope that the robbers were like, I don't know
Went
which
after
one
the
it
car
is. Yeah. Hope that the robbers chase the wrong Hyundai Sonata off the road.
Can you imagine
But
if you're like
capitalism is
the
great
fake
at
one and you get
innovating.
robbed by people that are now pissed that you don't have money?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
God,
What if they
yeah.
shot? Yeah, I read that. I'm like, what if they shoot you in the head? Yeah. What if the robbers shot me in the head?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, dude. No. So we had, I was working at a fast food restaurant chain that's mostly based in the Southeast. I think they have some stores outside. But it's a chicken finger place. It's not Zaxby's. That's the biggest. It's not Zaxby's.
I was thinking
and it's not
Zaxby's.
Chick-fil-A. It's like a Zaxby's. But anyway, most people who know what I'm talking about will be able to put it together from that. But anyway, no. We had a manager who complete wackadoo, absolutely crazy person. This is like the first person in my work experience that made me start going, I really wish I could fire my boss. Anyway, they got themselves fired because one night the tills, so like it was open late night. We always had a big drunk rush. And we need to do an episode on the shitty jobs of our past. That would be fucking amazing.
That would be our next episode. I'm down for that.
So anyway, like
I've written songs about Circle K.
The cash register would ding you if you got to like $5,000 in the drawer, and it would ding, and you would have to like constantly clear messages, and you had to tell the manager, "Hey, I need a cash pull. Can you bring me a new till?" And the manager that night was like, "No, I can't. And this was going on from like midnight to when we closed at 3:30 a.m.
Circle K, it was always $100. Like, that's crazy. Like, we had to go from 100 back down to 20 and like envelope it and put it away.
What the till started out with was 150, but when it hit 5,000, that was a max out. You have to pull the drawer and get a new one.
Well, also that's
because
because
too much money in one
well,
place.
if you remember,
Anyway,
Circle K
so
got robbed twice weekly every morning when you got off shift.
At the end of the night, the manager pulled my till and pulled the receipt, like ran the Z out the register basically, and the receipt came out to show like how much of what had been bought and how many combos, etc. How many cars did I talk to? I had talked to 1,878 cars in 3 hours.
Jesus Christ!
I had sold $27,000 worth of food. So I had gone 5.5 times over the tills limit in one night, and that was just drive-through. Okay, and seeing those numbers, the first thing I thought was, I'm full-time, and I'm only making about $22,000 a year here. How in the hell am I only making $22,000 a year? Anyway. So that night, the manager did the math wrong and wound up with about $10,000 cash more from all of the registers. Because remember, it's not just drive-through; it's also there's 3 tills up front that were all open. And so instead of doing what they should have done, which is make a note of it, put it all in the drop safe that can only open between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. so that the Brinks truck can come and get it. Guess what they decided to do with the extra money that they couldn't account for?
I feel like put it in a trunk or like take it home.
Put it in their car and took it home. Sent an email about it, which was nice, but everyone else was asleep. So they took it home. Yeah, they let that manager go the next day. They were like, no, even though you brought it back. Holy shit. How fucking crazily irresponsible are you?
Yeah, that's still theft. Like you can't.
It's theft.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your intention was. Like that's the company's money. That's
exactly. Exactly.
That's insane.
No, but it turned out there was like, I mean, I think there was about there was about $12,000 cash in my till, but with credit cards and everything, it came out to like $28,000. And that was one night. And I'm sitting here going, I'm making 22 a year here, and the till I just
they make more than that in 3 hours.
They make more than that in 3 hours. Fuck this shit. I'm not doing this anymore. And I immediately started looking into shit like, so what the fuck is communism? Like, I'm just like looking into it going, oh, holy shit, that's my labor. my labor. They took my and everyone else who was working the line that night. That was our labor printed out on that receipt. And the CEO got a cut and a bonus, and the other executives got cuts and bonuses, and then money went into making more cash generating boxes that were going to be placed elsewhere. And it's just like, seriously, I hate it whenever someone who's deep into theory just goes, whenever someone has a question, they're like, oh, so what exactly is the like, you know, the labor theory of value? And the person just goes, here's Das Kapital, read it. But like, seriously, at least the first two parts, at least read chapters 1 and 2 of Das Kapital. They are dense as fuck. It will take you 80 years to get through it, but it will make you see you're getting fucked over. You're getting extremely fucked over. And that's one thing I've never understood about about communism taking root in America, is we are a people who are very adverse to getting fucked over. Except whenever it's like Jeff Bezos, then we're totally fine with getting fucked.
Because I mean, we talked about before.
Pot at us.
It's because
like, just very slowly introduce the fucking.
Not just that, but Jeff Bezos has to exist to make the whole system work. Because if there's no Jeff Bezos, you don't get to fantasize. Yeah, you don't get to fantasize about being Jeff Bezos. And if you realize that you'll never actually get there, and that you're about as stratified now as any society's ever been. You know, we talk about like the medieval period where like you're born into the nobility or you're born a serf, and that's and it's what we're living
your lot in life. That's exactly where we are. We wonder how that ever happened. This is it. We just call it something else.
The next benchmark that either Amazon, Alphabet, Walmart, or Exxon has to, like, you know, the companies that are at $1 trillion are getting close to it. The next milestone that they have to meet is they have to overcome the tremendous amount of wealth, which Bezos will probably do it in my lifetime, of becoming the most valued corporation the world has ever seen, and that would come at about $8.6 to $8.9 trillion in today's money, which was the British East India Company. Right. Whenever they literally, whenever someone's like, we need a government that's run like a business, I'm like, that's great. Yeah, fucking buy everybody out, nationalize everything. Fucking the government's a business now. They're like, no. I mean, like, run for profit. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like the East India Company that fucking collapsed and had to be bailed out by the crown. Like, it doesn't work. The dreams of a mega corporation running the planet is just such fucking stupidity, because it's not profitable. Providing public services is not profitable. Never will be profitable.
I'll take you back to a time in a place called America where we threw the goddamn East India's tea into the fucking harbor.
Oh, well, that was the West India Company. We
not the East India Company?
Yeah, we were the West Indies, because you went west from England to get
either way. The crown was pissed and wanted us to fucking basically it'd be like if you fucking threw a bunch of Amazon shit into the bay right now, and then the government's like, you got to pay Amazon back. Fuck that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. No, if you were to burn an Amazon,
and then we become the next Tea Party.
Which I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for anyone to burn an Amazon fulfillment center down, burning it to the ground, directly to the ground, like turn off the fire extinguishers, make sure no one's in the building, and then light a whole bunch of shit on fire to burn it to the ground. I'm not
very important. There's no people there.
I'm not saying do that. Well, the management can be in there. That's fine, but get all the workers out.
Fire your boss, right?
I'm not saying do it. I just want to say hi to the TSA agents or whoever that's watching. Hi, how's it going?
I just want to put a disclaimer at the bottom of our screen.
But here's the thing. If we were to burn one Amazon fulfillment center down, Jeff Bezos is out maybe 2 days worth of income.
But if you burn Jeff Bezos,
a message to myself in the future: stop representing yourself. I know you're doing it right now. Stop it. Bad. No. Stop it. Okay, back to you, Judge.
When this gets played in court, inevitably, I would just like to say, Your Honor, I'm effecting a citizen's arrest right now. I want this judge arrested and in cuffs. I am not a citizen of this is an Admiralty podcast. You can see by the flag.
What is this maritime law? I see.
No, and I just start going. An embryo has no rights. Rights do not pertain to a potential, only to an actual.
I am an embryo. I am an embryo.
Which means I am not arrested right now. Penalties do not pertain to the potential that I did wrongdoing, only if I actually did. So I'm gonna leave.
I'm a corporation, and these are my firmly held religious beliefs.
So speaking of bad managers, I have our dear Wesley that comes from the Ask a Manager page that I have to stop reading because it can't be good.
Hell yeah.
It can't be good for my blood pressure.
Go for it.
So, dear Wesley, our boss told us we can't share lunches with each other. Wesley, I've been having some of my coworkers. Our boss told us we cannot share lunches with each other. I've been
fuck do they care about that?
Well, you're about to find out. I've been having lunch with some of my coworkers for over 4 years. Sometimes we bring food and we share it among us. Last month,
like a potluck. Yeah.
Last month, my boss told me and everyone else that we had lunch with that we can no longer share our food with each other. Apparently, someone who does not eat with us complained about us having lunch together and sharing our meals
that little bitch
with each other. My boss said that it was favoritism because we're not inviting everyone else in the department to eat with us and share.
You can't make someone be your friend. We just discussed that the other day. You cannot make someone be your friend, and if you just decide to fuck them over, then they're definitely not going to be your friend. Holy shit.
So basically, we can't bring our own food and share it with our friends at work because we're showing favoritism by not inviting the whole department to eat with and sharing our food. I think that
what does that have to do with working there or having lunch there? Like when I apply to a place to work there, I am not applying to be everyone's friends. I am definitely going to show some people more favoritism than others because I don't like everyone the same amount.
I think, and this is me being an armchair HR guy. I think that favoritism would fall under if the boss was inviting specific people to share food with and only those people. Yeah. But amongst equals,
I mean, this person, this isn't Ask a Manager. Is this person a manager?
That's a very good question. They don't say so. They sound like they're all fellow employees.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
I just want to be your buddy. I'm just another working Joe like you. Yeah, no, Brent, you have hiring and firing. You're not just like us. Like,
get out of my food, Brent. It's not sharing. You're just taking my food while I'm looking away.
Brent doesn't have to take this. He's going to take his $10,000 and go home.
Oh my!
He'll bring it back tomorrow.
To add on to this, I did the other day. I hate.
Promise, I'll bring it back tomorrow.
If you want to see me just have a stroke, tie me to a chair and make me watch all of the episodes of Undercover Boss.
Oh yeah,
it's the worst. But my video algorithm pulled up an episode the other day, and it was the worst.
You watched it once, so it's all like, you want to see this, don't you?
It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing I've ever seen because the guy is being started. It's a chain corporate buffet restaurant, so it's already the worst for-profit restaurant system that exists, and he's working alongside the guy in the dish pit. I can't imagine a worse place to be.
Episode,
yeah. I can't imagine a worse place to be than be in the fucking dish pit of a buffet restaurant, a chain buffet restaurant. You just have fucking plates full of the most gross fucking food that's half chewed just coming at you. And so this boss is mad because the guy's like, this is the dish pit, put the dishes through. And the boss is like, I've only had a minute of training. And he's like, yeah, well, I didn't get any, so get to it. So then the boss goes immediately.
This is an outrage.
He goes immediately to the manager and it's like, listen, I'm not John Peterson. I'm actually the CEO. And this is ridiculous. He needs to adjust his attitude. Also, the front of house looks amazing, but the dishwasher's attitude is just poor.
Seriously, if I was in that situation just as like a worker passing by my manager and the CEO of the company in a stupid fucking disguise the CBS Corporation put him in, and I was walking past that conversation, my first thought would be to turn and just go, eat a bag of dicks and die, dude. We're getting it done. Like like if we were to slow down and do absolutely everything, like it's just, oh my God. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's that's why
democracy and labor.
That's why I said
not only do you have to work one of the
wouldn't happen if everybody in the fucking restaurant had a say in how the fucking restaurant went. And that CEO would be, oh my goodness, that's terrible. We should bring this to the attention of the other workers who all voted for me as CEO and bring this to their attention so that we can get some training or maybe get you some help or maybe get you fewer hours at the same rate of pay.
I propose this. We just go to pirate rules, right? Listen, we elect our leader, but if he fucks up, we throwing his ass into the fucking ocean until he drowns.
exactly what I'm talking
You
about.
imagine
Like being
how
a
good
dishwasher is one of the hardest jobs you will ever have to do on this planet. Like they're giving you just stacks and stacks of plates, and you're having to just stick your hands down in boiling water and tear your skin off all day long. You're losing layers and layers of skin. Yeah, you're gonna have a bad attitude because you're doing this for minimum wage. Like Peter once said, for minimum wage, you get me there with my pants on.
Yeah,
Like
and
and
maybe
not
not
too much
even
else.
maybe not even that.
You can't. But capitalism says you have to eat shit with a smile on your face.
That's my favorite part when they're like you gotta smile. Like, why? Why do I gotta be happy?
Oh.
Like, why is
needs
that
an attitude adjustment?
When did happiness become a requirement of capitalism?
Oh, it's a commodity.
Also,
it's a commodity. Like literally, oh my God, Marx actually talks about this. It is a commodity, and this is where people get the idea of I'm not giving you my emotional labor.
Yeah.
It's emotional labor that you have to smile through the sexual harassment.
I can tell you this, and this is why I know
there's an episode title, Smiling Through the Sexual Harassment.
I like it when capitalism and communism clash in weird ways, and I'll give you a story. In Brooklyn, there is a gym. It's Russian, I guess Russian owned, Russian run. And from what I've talked to people from that part of the world stuff, and a lot of places don't have America's weird, dumb, fake customer service. You're like, how y'all doing? Good to see you back. Like they're just like, yeah, like welcome to the gym, or not even that. And so I was reading the reviews of this gym, and it's a bunch of. I was not greeted when I came in. The towboy didn't smile at me.
Me on the forehead and offered me chicken tendies. No.
My favorite was a lady fell off a stair climber during an exercise class and got fucked up. And her complaint was like, they didn't even offer me help. They just told me I should learn to exercise better. I was like, I wish I could afford this gym. I love the fact that they're just Russians standing around me like, yeah, no, what's this problem? Like, lady, you not know how to walk stairs? Like, Jesus.
I love it.
I don't want people to greet me when I walk in. I don't, because I feel
I've always hated that.
Yeah, and then I feel like I have to like put on a fake thing back. I would much prefer. Yeah,
it's emotional exploitation. Your good mood as an employee is a commodity that your employer is trying to sell to the customers. There's nothing wrong with being in a good mood whenever you go to work or putting on a fake air of a mood, but whenever they say this is a family style, family friendly restaurant, you will be fucking friendly to the fucking customers. It's because they've already sold your emotional labor to their customers. They're just expecting you to perform it, and if you don't perform it, they'll mark you down or fire you or just stop scheduling you, which is the shittiest way that most restaurants stop fire people.
When they say family
that sounds like
style,
a whole other job to me. So if they want to pay me a second paycheck, then okay, we can talk. Like the labor of me smiling and being happy, like, hey, how are you? You come to the restaurant often? Have you lost weight?
And especially with restaurant workers, and especially in the United States, the restaurant's not paying you. It's the customer who's paying you.
True, right? Because you're expected to work for like $2 an hour, and then
it's $2.75. I think. Yeah.
And then tips make up the rest, which is horseshit because the customer's already having to pay for the food. Now they're having to pay your wage too.
So it's that wage versus tips. So if someone working at a restaurant actually gets a check, they've done very, very poorly. Okay, your check may be nothing if your tips outdo the number that you would have made hourly. It's that wage versus tips.
I'm just saying, how come
whenever you're working.
When I hear family style, I'm just imagining some weird loose acquaintance of mine at any point during the meal is going to come up and say some racist shit, and then someone else is going to start crying, and then we're going to find out that someone's pregnant. Like that's family style to me.
I remember that
family style is a specific type of dining that's very much they bring one dish to the table and then everyone takes and puts on their plate. That's family style.
Right, but then there should be a random waiter that's like, you know
one
what?
Level up from buffet.
There should be a random waiter that's like, I don't care for these kind of people. And then someone else goes, what did you mean by that? And then it devolves into that's family style to me.
But whenever they do pay you minimum wage, though, there's like some sort of weird law that says that customers can't give you tips. Like that's something they told me at Bilo whenever you go to push.
I don't know if it was where you are, but that is absolutely not a thing. Anyone can tip
Really?
anyone at any time.
I
Yeah.
was
This
told,
is way back when I was 18, so there might have been different. Well,
right,
I don't know.
I was told
But
by these stores that
I was told
we
never
don't
never
accept
accept.
tips. Fuck
Yeah.
that, dude.
I was told to never accept tips. And back then, again, when I was 18, I believed them. Like, oh, okay, I don't want to get fired for accepting tips. So they'd offer me tips. I would say no. I had one person like throw money at me and then drive off. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
I had that was the one.
Nowadays, I would never say no. But
that was the one thing that I can say. The union busting mouse I used to work for down in Florida, that was the one thing that they were actually good at, or good about rather, was that tipping is not necessary. You have to refuse it once before you take it. Like, just go, oh no, thank you though. I just hope you have a magical day. And if the person's like, no, I insist, then you can take it. Just be as discreet as you can about it. Like, that's the line with the most magical totalitarian kingdom on earth in Central Florida.
holy,
yeah, no, I have actually been asked to stop talking about my experiences working for them. Anyway, but yeah.
Well, guys, I think that brings us to the end of our daily hate of capitalism and middle management. Is there anything that we want to plug today?
Dusk Belt, buy them all 2 of them. Don't worry, a third one will come out first quarter 2023.
See,
they'll have our guarantee.
If you look behind me, it's on one of these bookshelves. I just got to keep looking.
If you can find it, then
it's somewhere on this planet. Maybe not in Norway where I'm pointing, but it's on this planet somewhere. Yeah,
somewhere up here,
or maybe in Norway. Who knows? We'll send Wesley to check. Wesley, did you watch the episode live on Facebook? We were expecting your commentary in the chat,
and nothing happened. That's fine though.
Oh, Wesley.
Bobby,
Wesley.
Bobby, you wanna plug anything?
No, not particularly. Besides, like, one of my favorite YouTube channels called NonCompete just hit 100,000 subscribers.
Nice.
They're a really good channel that breaks down incredibly complicated theory, very, very into like small digestible bites. We talked about the labor theory of value. They even did an episode on the labor theory of value as a puppet show, like a kid's show. Nice. And they had Kropotkin, so it's Kropotkin as a robot, and Karl Marx's disembodied head on an 80s television. Like, it's really, really good little show. It's a guy named American Johnson who lives in Vietnam now. Just got married, and he's been doing this video essays for quite a while. And he and his wife, they do a lot of. His wife also has a YouTube channel that is basically, it's kind of like Vietnamese communist perspectives on things, and they both have really good YouTube channels. I would highly recommend. That's NonCompete, and then his wife's name, I forget it. Oh, god damn it, I forgot it. But anyway, if you look up him, his wife's stuff, she's a very nice little Vietnamese lady. You'll see him. He's a bigger white dude with a beard. He's me. But short hair. Anyway, he has a really good episode out called "A Capitalist Owns Capitalism," and it was all about this this guy who like has run. It's called "Capitalist Destroys Capitalism." An honest capitalist inadvertently wrecks capitalism, and it's this guy, and he's talking about all the he's like, I get people who call me or who like message me, because he does the capitalist guy. I'll put a link in our chat so you can send it to people, or put it into the script. We'll put it in the doodly doo.
Down there in the doodly doo, where you should leave comments to us. We will read them. I promise.
Yes,
if you're on YouTube, do it.
Ring the bell. Leave comments. Comment on other people's stuff. Start flame wars in the content. All engagement is good engagement. But anyway, no. So it's this guy.
Hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell.
Rise and grind capitalist videos. And he just had like an honest moment, like telling people, he's like, so in order to really get started in stuff like, opening, say, a store that focuses on selling Magic the Gathering shit, you're going to need $50,000 up front, and then be able to support yourself with no income from the business for 3 to 7 years. And he goes, this is coming from the experience of me having started several and selling several businesses like this, over the course of the last 10 years. And American Johnson is just like congratulating him on being incredibly fucking honest about everything that he's saying about capitalism, that you have to have capital in order to play. That's, again, you're not a capitalist if you don't own anything. If you're renting your house, or if you own a house and you're not renting out a portion of your property, you're not a capitalist. You're just a homeowner. Okay? These people who think that they're capitalists, no. You're just a cheerleader for an economic system that is fucking you in the ass.
But they could be Jeff Bezos one day.
Someday. It is so hard to find you on Facebook. I was looking for it here just to see how many people we have watching at the end of the episode.
Capitalism is the best ever. It innovates constantly.
There we go.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, the only thing I want to plug is I'm still working my way through the book 1491. Holy shit, guys. It turns out the Native American societies that were wiped out by disease and enslavement and genocide were way bigger and more complex than we ever even imagined, to the point where there's a revisionist thing going on in history right now where they're like, dude, the fucking Mayans, I believe.
Yeah, and like up and around St. Louis, they have found basically the remains of a massive city that went tits up sometime around 1500, which puts it right in the right time period.
I can't remember if it was the Mayans or the Inca. One of them had the biggest, I think still the record, biggest empire in the world.
At the time.
Yeah, well, based on like
I don't think there's enough land in North America for somebody to pull a Mongol empire and be bigger than they were. But yeah,
anyways.
Was it the Mayans that thought what's his name was Quetzalcoatl, or was that Incas?
Well, there's another interesting thing. You know, we talk about
Cortez being considered a god.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the Aztecs.
Aztecs. Gotcha.
Yeah, he only fucked with the Aztecs.
I
can only remember the god they mistook him for as Quetzalcoatl, the big bird.
This book also made me rethink a racist thing that I never realized was super racist before. Was the Aztecs always get a bunch of shit for ritual human sacrifice. And if you examine France and England at the same time and the number of public executions they have, they were killing way more people publicly and gruesomely. So I don't know why we're like, well, the Aztecs were cutting up.
That's like
pretty sure it's white people.
Throughout the entirety of the Cold War, so say 1950, 52 to 1991, the Soviet Union had 1/10 the prisoner population the United States had.
I just realized that echoes like that echoes like modern sexism in a way. Like, you know how whenever a man says maybe we should do this or that, he's considered assertive or a leader. If a woman does the same thing, she's considered bossy. Well, when the Aztecs murder a bunch of people, they're crazy savages. When white people do it, they're just having a revolution.
Yeah, but we also can't fall into the anti-Spanish colonization.
Fox News is the same way, I guess.
Like the Spanish did a whole bunch of fucked up shit, especially like the encomienda system. But like saying that the Spanish treated the natives worse than the French or worse than the British or worse than the Americans or worse than the Portuguese is actually Portuguese and British propaganda. They all did really fucked up shit, but the Spanish weren't necessarily more cruel than anyone else. They just got a shit ton of bad press at the exact same time because they were getting all this gold. They were inflating economies across Europe, invading the Dutch and taking over the Dutch. And like a lot of people hated them. So there was a fuck ton of anti-Spanish propaganda just flying around out there. And historians focusing on what rich people were talking about were like, oh, probably true. This is probably true. Like, yeah, no, the British, we treat our natives a lot better. You know, we're making them Christian. We're not putting them on the farm. We're just telling them to keep scooting. Become Christian and keep scooting.
So if a woman does do things that a man does is considered assertive, a woman is considered an Aztec, and that's just sexist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's I guess that's it for today.
Fire your boss. All right.
Remember to send us messages. If you have
messages.
If you have
comments, even if it's just I disagree, how dare you? Like write a comment in the YouTube section. All engagement is good engagement.
If you have anything that you would problems that you can't hack, you need to call in the experts.
If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't, downvote the shit out of it. We don't care. YouTube still says, hey, these people are engaging.
Engagement is engagement. If you don't like the content, please put a down arrow.
If you can't get a hold of the experts,
write in the comment. You guys are the worst.
You can get a hold of us. We're cheaper
literally are.
We're cheaper than therapy.
We are. Write us your letters. Write us your own Dear Wesley letters. We will tell you that you're right.
Business and finance lawyer.
Hire us as your lawyers. We'll represent you in court.
Oh, God.
Hell yeah, we
Oh,
definitely won't
God.
get tackled by the bailiff. We
Yeah,
know that
we'll be-
much.
We'll be your legal team. We can't be any worse than you.